In this video, we're going to be talking about expanding algebraic expressions. Now, when we're doing this, we're actually using a law called the Distributive Law, and that's used to expand and remove brackets of expressions. Now, the way this works, the idea is that the terms inside the brackets multiplied by the term outside the brackets. The way I like to explain this is using the idea of rainbows. So we've got A outside of B plus C. Now we know that whenever we've got two letters next to each other, they're being multiplied. Well, it's the same case with a letter and something with brackets. There's still a multiply here, but it's not A times B plus C. It's A times B plus A times C. And we can see that here. This is equal to AB plus AC. But an easy way to identify that is using these rainbows. So the first one means I'm going to times A and B. So that means a times. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do A times positive C. So there's our times there. And then we're left with AB plus AC. In a similar situation, these two look very similar. The difference is there's a negative here. You can see there's a negative here and there's a negative here, where there was a positive here and a positive here. If we use our rainbows again, we can see how that happens. So we've got A times B, that's AB, and then we've got A times negative C. We know that a positive times a negative is a negative, so A times negative C is going to be negative AC, and that's how that works. So we're going to use that idea with three examples during this video. So the first is just expanding expressions with brackets, which is kind of what we're looking at, but this is with more numbers and letters, so just gives us a better feel for how it works. So we're going to expand the following. 2 times x plus 5. So for our A, we're going to do 2 times x, which is 2x, plus we've got 2 times positive 5 is positive 10. And we know that we can't add these together because they're not like terms, so we're done. For B, we've got 3 times 2x, that's going to be 6x, because we just do 3 times 2 is 6, and x times, well, there's no other letters, so it's just going to be x. Then we've got 3 times negative 3, so that's going to be negative 9. Now, just it goes for explanation's sake, if you can do all the numbers using a calculator. So if we did the 3 times 2, we're going to get our 6, and if we do the 3 times negative 3, we're going to get our negative 9. So it still works with a calculator. These are lower numbers, so we can try and do it in our head if possible, just to speed things up. For C, we've got 3y times 2x. We'll do the numbers first. It's 3 times 2, that's 6. And then we've got x times y. They're different letters, so we're just going to have xy. Then we've got 3y times 4y. So it's positive because they're both positive. We've got 3 times 4. That's going to be 12. Then we've got y times y. So that's y. And there's 2 of them, so it's squared. And there's no like terms, so we're done answering that example. Moving on to the next example, we've got expanding expressions with a negative, specifically a negative out the front. It doesn't change anything. We still use the same method. We just have to be more careful because there's just more negatives involved. So going through here, we've got negative 3 times x. So negative 3, it's the only whole number. So it's negative 3, and then we've just got an x. And negative 3 times negative 4, there's 2 negatives, so that's positive, and 3 times 4 is 12. Moving along to B, we've got minus 2x times 3x. So minus 2 times 3, that's a negative. 2 times 3 is 6. And there's an x times an x, so that's x squared because we're multiplying 2 x's together. And the next one, we've got minus 2x times minus 2y. So we've got minus times a minus is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. And an x times a y is just going to be x, y. And that's our answer for that second example. for the third and final example, we've got it's simplifying expressions, but by removing the brackets first. So it says expand and simplify the following. Now we've been talking about expanding, but now simplifying. I'll show you what I mean once we've expanded. So expanded, remember, is to remove the brackets. So first of all, we've got 8 plus, so we're going to pop that in, and then we're going to remove these brackets. So it's 3 times 2x, that's going to be 3 times 2 is 6x, and then we've got 3 times minus 3. Remember, this is a positive 3 the whole way through. Positive 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9. Now we're not done. Now we can simplify. And what that means is we're going to add and subtract like terms. Here we've got 8 plus 6x minus 9. Now 6x is the only thing with x, so I'm going to pop that in first. The order doesn't necessarily matter as long as the signs are correct. That's a positive 6x. This is a positive 6x, so that's fine. We've got 8 take away 9. So if we do 8 take away 9, that's going to be negative 1, and that's our final answer. If you were to write the answer like this, minus 1 plus 6x, that's also correct. It's just a different order. But for good practice, we like to put the terms in alphabetical order with whole numbers at the end. But as long as the numbers are there, it's still correct. Now we'll do it for B. We've got 2 sets of brackets, but that's fine. We'll just take it one set of brackets at a time. We've got 3 times 2x, that's going to be 6x. And 3 times positive 2, it's going to be positive 6. Now, be careful here, there's a negative 4, so we have to make sure we're taking that into account when we're multiplying. We've got negative 4 times x is negative 4x, and negative 4 times positive 4 is negative 16. Now, we can simplify this further. We're going to have 6x minus 4x. I'm going to underline the like terms, so in this case, 6x, negative 4x, and we've got positive 6 and negative 16. First of all, we've got 6x minus 4x, that's going to be 2x, because we like to have the x's first in this case, and the whole numbers last. Then we've got plus 6 minus 16. Now, that looks a bit hard. Feel free to use a calculator if it's available, otherwise just solve it like normal. We've got 6 minus 16 gives us negative 10, and that's our final answer. Once again, if you were to write the answer like this, negative 10 plus 2x, the answer is still correct, but we just prefer it this way.